start doing purse, the whole attitude changes throughout the whole thing.
Driver Dan Patrick and Samson running a Hemi in the Chevrolet body, going to be taking a bye run against the Spider-Man originally, Wade. Spider-Man is broken out here tonight.
Tough break for Paul Jensen, but if anyone can get it together, he can. Here comes Samson. Dan Patrick on a mission this year. That run not fast enough, 4.865, and he is not on the pole here tonight. He will not post the top qualifying time, but a pretty good run for Samson. We'll see if it stands. Here comes Dan Patrick and Samson, looking to beat a 4.120. Spider-Man still suffering from motor problems. We'll see if he gets to the line here later in action on M.O.D. round 1.
That's right, and even though it is a bye round, the times do matter as we do take the fastest qualifying time of both runs for lane choice and placement as we move into semifinal action.
So Samson's slower. That run, 5.05.
Oh, it's going to be totally different. You're going to see good friends not be so good friends right now, you know. When you're racing for a purse, it's every guy after himself, so it'll be different. You'll see a difference in the
Number
attitude.
1 of straight line drag competition from Roswell, New Mexico. This is round 1 of 2006 M.O.D. action. That man, Dan Patrick and Samson, going up against Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck. Neither truck has an advantage on paper. They're both very competitive. We're about to go green. Swanson gets a great jump, but it's Samson coming across the line first with a time of 4.235. Samson's jump was even better.
It was, and if you notice right off the finish line there, you're looking at the Obsession truck of Rick Swanson there out of Menifee, California. Now the tires seem to have sucked in, and now we're looking at Samson. It looks like they've got a little bit of smoke coming out of the truck. Wait, it looks like he might have some trouble tonight.
Yeah, it's usually not good when you're on fire, Kevin.
Especially when they bring the trucks out. Right now you see Dan buried knee-deep into the truck right now, trying to find out what's going on. Is it running hot? Do we have a problem with the fuel system? Is there a problem with the motor?
Could be electrical, too.
Very possible. Now we're looking at Obsession's truck. Now Rick Swanson limping it back into the pits with that broken tire.
Let's take a look at the replay. A great jump off the line for Dan Patrick in Samson. Channel Wade Sherman and Kevin Hines with you from Roswell, New Mexico. We move into semifinal straight line action, and it's Craig Christensen coming out in the Dragon Slayer with the Hummer body. He's getting set to do battle against Samson, driven by Dan Patrick. Last year's champion, of course, Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Who do you give the edge to in this race, Kevin?
Well, I'll tell you what, last season's champion very quick, but here they go off the line. It looks like Samson with a jump at a 4.075. Wade, that's the fastest time we've seen all night.
Flirting with getting into the threes, but not quite there. Samson again with another quick reaction off the line. Dan Patrick going to be tough to beat here tonight. He's meaning business here in Roswell, New Mexico.
That's right. That big Hemi that Patrick runs in that Samson truck is an absolute tough motor to beat, regardless of what they do to these other motors. Patrick gets the reaction time with a .130 to Craig Christensen's .286, and that's going to mean the race for Dan Patrick.
Dan is just so quick off the line. Those times are sick. I mean, man, to the finals. So we move to the finals here in straight line drag competition, M.O.D. round 1 of the 2006 season. There's Rick Long in Bigfoot, and he will be doing battle against Dan Patrick and Samson. Both drivers, both trucks, looking for that first place money. It's the first time in the history of M.O.D. that they get paid for their performance. No show-up fees here. They're going to be battling, and it could be anybody's race. Very evenly matched, Kevin.
That's right. I think it's all going to come down to reaction time, and here they go off the line. Look at this. Bigfoot already sideways across the line. Wade, that one looks like it might be too close to call.
It's definitely too close to call. There may be a penalty for Bigfoot. He could have gone out of his lane. He's lucky he didn't tear the suspension all to pieces here. Came down hard on that left rear wheel. It should have broken. These trucks are very well built, but I still can't tell who won. Let's take one more look at it. This was just a very tight race. Here they are coming to the line. Bigfoot on the outside. You see he's all out of shape there. It's still too hard to tell.
And look at the close-up here, Wade. Here's where we're going to focus on the bumper as it has crossed the timing equipment first.
Bigfoot's time, 4.147. Samson, 4.153. What a tough loss for Dan Patrick. One of the closest races in the history of M.O.D. action, but your winner, Rick Long in Bigfoot, followed by Dan Patrick and Samson, Dragon Slayer, Obsession, Spider-Man, and Monster Jerky.
All right, now down here with driver Dan Patrick. Dan, you've been around this business an awful long time. You came out here, you made a valiant effort, had some problems with the trucks earlier tonight, and you know, you put it back together and you came out here and you put on a great show.
I don't know about a long time. We might have been here at the beginning, but you know, it's amazing how 20 years creep up on you. But yeah, we had a good night, and yeah, we had a little mechanical problem. A nut fell off of a bar, and that was it. You know, so we got it together, and you know, we kind of got through the night. And Rick gave me a good run there at the end. I thought we were going to do a little bit more than racing there at the end, but Rick does a good job. He saved her, and we're back for obstacle racing.
Awesome. Well, Dan, it's always great to have a name like yours out here. You're so involved with the frame building and the industry of monster trucks, and great job out here tonight. It's a pleasure to have you.
Even when I don't look good, our customers look good for me, so, you know, we never lose.
That's right. Well, Dan, congratulations on second place.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. It's time for obstacle course action. We have a J-style course for you. Our first truck, Dan, Patrick, and Samson. He's still shaking his head, thinking he won straight line drags in the closest race in recent memory.
Well, I tell you what, with 6/1000ths of a second separating the straight line drags, that shows you just how tough the competition is out here tonight. Obstacle course action going to be absolutely no different, Wade.
He'll do battle with Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck. Samson quick off the line again. His reaction times spectacular tonight. They slide around the turning pole. Patrick having some trouble. He's out of his lane, up on two wheels, but he recovers. He's going to get to the line first. How did he do that? He should have been able to do that. He was totally out of shape. What happened to Swanson?
Well, I'll tell you what, Swanson on that far lane, it's a very, very tight corner, and these drivers are having problems out here coming around, getting it tucked in, and then lining up for the finish line over the cars. And Rick Swanson having that very same problem as he comes out here. Couldn't quite get it lined up, as we'll see in the replay.
Here we look at it. An isolated view on the Obsession truck, having all kinds of trouble rounding that turning pole out of his lane. He's up on two wheels as well. This is going to be a very challenging course. Interesting view from that angle. They both really struggled, and it's like Patrick just made less of a mistake.
That's right, and look at Patrick's reaction time of .134. That might have been the reason that he won this race out here for heat number one, because it all comes down to that reaction time.
The effects that has on racing all season long here on the Outdoor Channel. We move on now. Here is Dan Patrick in Samson coming to the line, and he will do battle against Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer.
Now Christensen, our 2005 Series champion, here they go off the line. Both drivers very fast as they come to this crucial corner that we've been talking about thus far tonight. Now let's watch as they try and power slide through the corner. Samson goes up on the mound. Oh, and look at this. Samson gets it straightened out quick, and it looks like Samson is going to take this one home.
Yeah, Dragon Slayer could not keep it going straight. He was out of shape and perpendicular to his lane. Took him too long to correct, and the semifinal heat goes to Patrick in Samson. Let's take a look one more time now. Samson again, quick off the line. Carries it to the outside to increase that turning radius. Not quite far enough as he still bobbles over the tabletop just a bit, that large obstacle, but keeps it going straight and gets across the line. Now look at Dragon Slayer here. He's going to have some real trouble. Locks up the brakes real hard, doesn't get back on the gas soon enough, has to get off right there, and by then it's too late.
And Wade, it was all won or lost in that corner with 7/100ths of a second reaction time difference. That corner made
Roswell, New Mexico of the 2006 season. Your obstacle course final will pit that man, Dan Patrick in Samson. He will be going up against Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck on a borrowed tire from Spider-Man, who couldn't answer the bell.
That's right, and we talked about this a little bit ago. Now, Rick Swanson would not have been able to compete out here without that borrowed tire, and so Paul Jensen, being out of the race, offered it to him, and now he's here.
So is Swanson on borrowed time, or will the gift pay off? And will Rick pay Paul back? Somehow I doubt it, but let's see how it turns out. Samson, again, an awesome reaction time. Here's Obsession around the pole. The turn, very critical. Samson struggling a bit. Oh, no. There's disaster for Samson. And here comes Swanson on that borrowed tire. He gets it all. Your obstacle course champion, Rick Swanson, 12:035. Samson is still running. Comes across the line at 36.895. And just not what he wanted to see here in the finals. Couldn't get around that turn and put it up on two wheels on the big center jump. So victorious is Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck. Let's take a look at an isolated view of the Obsession truck. There he takes it wide to improve that turn, gets around quick, clips the center obstacle, but keeps it moving forward. Keeps his momentum over the car stack and brings it home a winner. Let's take a look at Samson's run here. Patrick trying to slide around that turn. Here's where he gets into trouble. He's way up on that center obstacle, puts it at a 45-degree angle, knows he's got no chance here, shuts it down, doesn't want to tweak that suspension. Tough break for Patrick. As your winner, Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck on that borrowed tire. Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck, victorious here tonight. Let's take a look at the finals here from round 1 in Roswell, New Mexico. It was Swanson in Obsession, followed by Patrick in Samson, Rick Long in Bigfoot, Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer, his second fourth-place finish. Both categories he was fourth. It was Scattini and Jensen in Spider-Man, who did not run.
All right, now we're going to have a chance to talk to Dan once again. Now, Dan, it was a heck of a battle out there. It is an awful tough and tight obstacle course out there to make it all the way around the corner and get a straight shot for the finish.
Yeah, well, I guess be the right lane's the lane I've been in all night. It's tight, you know, and if I would have got after it going up on the hill, I'd lost it. So, and we're done for the weekend that way. But hey, Rick's a good competitor. He's got a good truck under him. I know the guy that built it, so, you know. So what do you say, you know? That keeps my customers coming back.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, nonetheless, you put on a great battle. Was not really expecting that in the final round to have that little, little bit of issue out there on the track. You did a great job all night long, and you've always got tomorrow night to come out and show them who's boss.
Yeah, you know, we're just saving her for tomorrow night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Patrick. Dan, congratulations. It is very difficult for him to even see where he's going as he's bouncing in that truck.
Here comes Dan Patrick and Samson. 90 seconds will go on the clock for him. We should see some donuts from him. He's the master of the donut. We saw a lot of that last year. He can put on a pretty good show when he wants to, Kevin.
That's right. That big Hemi in that Samson truck with the double-fisted machine. He does come out and put on an excellent show. Dan Patrick been doing this for about 20 years now. In fact, specializes in building these frames for these monster trucks. So he, of anybody, knows these trucks inside and out.
And this is really pretty challenging course because even though we're outside, it's pretty short and it's not as big as some of the courses we're used to seeing. So quarters are a bit tight here, Kevin.
That's right. It limits the space that they have a chance not only to get a run at these jumps and at these cars, however, the shutdown time when they come off of the backside of each one of these obstacles is very, very limited. So they do have to kind of plan their attack. As you see Samson here slowing down greatly, taking his time around the corner and trying to get lined up for the next obstacle that he's going to attempt here. And let's see if he gets any air coming down to the 1-minute mark, Wade. Dave gives it a little bit of launch, but not very much air time there for the Samson truck.
First two trucks definitely struggling to get this crowd going here in Roswell, New Mexico. He's got a couple of donuts in that bag of tricks. We've seen him do some great ones last season here in M.O.D. action. There may not be enough room here in Roswell, and the dirt may not be ideal for it. Maybe he's thinking about it right there, but he's close to 30 seconds left to go. Really hasn't gotten started yet.
That's right. And 30 seconds left on the clock, as you had mentioned. Now is the time, if any, to pull those tricks out of the bag. And let's see what Dan has in store for us in that Samson truck. Let's see if he can actually break the Hemi loose, get a huge jump out here for us. Here he goes over the center mound. Nothing yet. Our only hope is that he can give us a couple good donuts out here, Wade.
10 seconds to go. What's Dan going to do? I know he's not going to go down without a fight. Setting up his last maneuver of freestyle on the gas. Up high right there, but the truck really not working with him. I think he would have liked to get a little bit more air on that one.
I would have to agree with that. Dan Patrick, not one to go home empty-handed and not one to not be a crowd pleaser as well. He likes to come out and put on a good show in that Hemi inside Samson, and tonight just doesn't look like it's his night for that.
Dan, always aware of the crowd and thankful for the time and energy they spend to come out, waves to the fans on here at Roswell. The front end of that truck got some good air and extension right there. That was one of his better moves. There just weren't enough of them to impress this reporter, Kevin.
That's right. Well, one thing that I do want to point out on the Samson truck, if you notice over the course of the replay, you can see the cantilever suspension. It does, in fact, absorb a lot of the bumps and a lot of the jumps out there, making it difficult to catch some good air.